Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the latest ATS Traffic webinar on livable community solutions. We're going to get started here right away, but before we do, I just have some quick housekeeping items. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to send them our way using the questions tab on your control panel. You should see the controls on the top right of your screen. You might have to expand it in order to see the questions chat box, but it is there. We'll also get to as many questions as we can following the presentation. So we will have someone cataloging the questions for us, and we will review the questions as best we can as we get through this presentation here. I think we're going to be going on to about 45 minutes for the presentation, give or take, so it should leave us approximately 15, maybe 10 minutes, but we'll try to aim for 10 or 15 minutes of questions at the end of the presentation. If we don't get to your question, do not fret. We will respond to you directly and answer any questions you have throughout the presentation that we were not able to answer during the live session that we are in today. And the last thing is we'll also be sharing the recording of this webinar in the follow-up email that will come shortly after the webinar closes off today. So again, welcome everyone, and let's get things going here. So today we're learning about livable community solutions, active transportation infrastructure, and sustainable technology. So we'll go down here, we're going to move the slide forward, and we'll talk a little bit about ATS. For those who are not familiar with ATS who are on the webinar today, we're over 55 years old, founded in 1966. It's still family owned by one owner. We have branches all across Western Canada, in fact, 4 provinces, 7 branches, with our newest branch opening up in Kamloops, BC last year. And we're proud to state that over the last several years, we have maintained a gold standard winner for Canada's top 50 best managed companies. Click here, and a little bit about Intelli Traffic, and we'll get to this as we kind of get through the presentation, but Intelli Traffic is a data division within ATS Traffic, and we also have Steve Ennis on the line here, and he can speak very briefly about Intelli Traffic, and then we can continue on through the presentation. Steve?
Sure, thanks, Wade. Hello, everybody. So just quickly about Intelli Traffic, it is the newest division of ATS Traffic, handles all things ITS. Basically. So if it produces data and it's armed with some sort of communication technology, then this division is interested in it. Our offering ranges from wrong-way detection systems to LiDAR-based sign and municipal asset inventory creation, to preemptive solutions for both transit and emergency vehicles, to in-field asset management, all the way to complete installation of adaptive corridors. So technology is infiltrating traffic and transportation just as it has all industries. We're certainly ready for the challenge. We also share an industry chair at the University of Alberta, where research is primarily focused on digitizing work zones and the digital infrastructure required to accommodate autonomous vehicles. I'm happy to be part of the webinar. Thank you everyone for being here.
Thanks, Steve. So just a quick blurb about our partners. ATS has many partnerships. We distribute and sell products either directly to customers or as a pull-through for our projects. The products range from your standard orange traffic cones to complex traffic camera systems and management systems, leveraging predictive analytics and artificial intelligence to mitigate or even better eliminate motor vehicle collisions and pedestrian fatalities and serious injuries. We are proud to say that we are partnered with some of what we would consider the top brand or gold standard brands in the industry today. We're also very proud members of several of the associations you see listed here on the screen. We've been working very closely with these organizations, since the beginning of this organization started in 1966, and we're proud to say that we've been active and visible members with these associations since 1966. So what are we working here today? We're working together to create safer communities since 1966. And that's the whole idea why we're on this webinar today, is we're trying to bring these products to the forefront to you, to be visible, to understand how we can help and what's available for us and for you in your municipality or your city, your town, or your small community in terms of sustainable modes of transportation. We want to be able to look at and help you with costs. What are the availabilities of these products, excuse me, and the environment and the convenience of these products. Using sustainable transportation, has a number of documented benefits. There's less pollution, reduced traffic congestion, a lot of fewer accidents. There's better health, particularly as a result. Walking, jogging, running, cycling. All of that stuff, allows you to get to work, but it also helps you release stress and clear your mind so that, when you do eventually get to work and get to the office, you have a very clear mind ahead of you for, to tackle the day ahead. And infrastructure and modifiable elements of neighborhood elements, of neighborhood environments can, even increase the rate of active transportation. Some very quick statistics here. Active transportation has accounted for about 31.4% in 2016. About 5 million people used some mode of sustainable transportation, whether that be public transit, carpooling. And of that 31.4%, 6.9%, almost 7%, used a form of active transportation, which was walking, jogging, running, cycling, as their main transportation mode to work or to wherever. And then the growth factor here, we're looking from 1996 to 2016, so a 20-year growth span here. The number of cycling commuters increased dramatically. 87.5%, or 87.9%, sorry, in all metropolitan areas combined. And then you look at the 3% commuters leading to greater traffic congestion and likely requiring more time to get to work from roadways. So we're looking at 3% in 1996 to 2016, so it's a 20-year gain, 3%. But what we could see is as we go to sustainable transportation methods, these stats from Stats Canada, we might see another 3%, but as we start introducing sustainable options to the communities and to the industry there, we're going to start seeing maybe less congestion, more pods driving groups of people to work that are smart and driving themselves, things like that. So we could see a bit of a shift, a bit of another gain of about 3% in the next 20 years. But I'd say that, as we start progressing to these new sustainable options, these new smart integrated options, we actually may seem to see the congestion reduce to where we have very limited congestion and a lot of carpooling happening. So the agenda today, and we're going to try and get through some of this stuff and keep you as engaged as possible. So we're going to get through, and each of these could warrant an hour presentation by themselves. We have a whole presentation that's dedicated specifically to data collection and asset management. We have a whole presentation that's specific for special event management and bike lanes and all this ped safety and intersections and crossings. But we don't want to go down too many deep rabbit holes here. So we're going to identify these 7 kind of things that we want to touch on today. And if you would like to have a dedicated presentation on any of these 7 kind of things that we're going to talk about today, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to put a customized presentation together, kind of bring you up to speed and introduce you to some of the products and a little bit more of a deep dive, so to speak, into these ped safety or traffic calming or intersection and crossings. So without further ado, we might as well move right on into the presentation. We're going to start today with pedestrian safety. So we can help assess the potential impact of an RFB at your site and recommend the best, most cost-effective option to reach the desired outcome. For those, again, RRFB, I'm going to be using a lot of acronyms here, but RRFB, or Rectangular Rapid Flashing Beacons. A couple of statistics that we pulled for this presentation day. We saw, 3 sites in British Columbia. Before we installed RRFBs in those sites, we were seeing about 50% compliance there, whereas after we installed the devices, we saw 98% in terms of impact. Increasing the driver yield time between anywhere between 73 and 96% additional yield time. Alberta, we did 6 sites. Before we installed them, we had 83% yield rate, and now after the install, we're almost sitting at 100% yield rate in both British Columbia and Alberta. So wherever you are in the country today, whether you're in British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, or even farther east, Ontario, Quebec, Maritimes, all of these stats can be validated though, because we're capturing this information and we're running studies beforehand and we're running studies after the fact. Where RFBs work best. RFBs aren't the catch-all, so to speak, as well. They're really designed for very specific applications, school zones or high risk or high collision areas where there is collision with pedestrians. And again, that's not, they're not designed for every single, as much as we would like to say, yes, put them everywhere. They need to be everywhere, but they also have a very particular price point that comes with them. And that's why we want to sit with you when we do, some conversations and say, here, let's look at the most specific areas where we're having the biggest challenge. That's where we want to see these going. And that's where you're going to find the most dramatic success from 50% up to 98%. So why do we choose Carmana for our solar powered rectangular rapid flashing beacons? We've been very close partners with Carmana for many, many years. We feel and we know from user experience out in the field, customer experience, and even just from a vendor relationship standpoint, they are what we consider the gold standard or the very best the industry has to offer in automatic power management. They're very user friendly. Has a very lightweight, very compact design, as you can see in the image there on the right-hand side of the screen. They don't require a lot of repair, very minimal repair. In fact, you may have to replace a battery, and that can be done, maybe within 3 to 5 minutes tops. The quick maintenance with ATS Traffic, we have an exclusive partner benefit with Carmana, which includes all on-hand parts, local branches. We have a bunch of consignment units in stock, so we're very capable of turning around these units and getting them out to the customer in a very reasonable and short amount of time. And we also have developed a temporary solution with the RFB as well. So we've got them on a concrete base. They're delivered to site. And then during your temporary construction or temporary traffic control project or anything that's roadworks related or even pathway related or sidewalk related, we can put out a temporary RFB just to really bring additional awareness and safety to that work zone or that roadworks project. So a quick couple of examples here of a project we did for the city of St. Albert for some crosswalk enhancements. So we've got over on the top right there, we've got a Carmana unit that's designed specifically for alternating beacon flashing for bringing attention to the school zone and to the school zone crosswalk area. We've got additional on the top left, just in front of the flashing beacon. So we've got another RRFB. And then you can see here on the bottom the bottom right-hand side, just kind of the fuller implemented zone there. We've got 3 poles, 3 engines, running 6 individual RRFBs, and they're all push button activated as well. Some additional crosswalk enhancements that are available through ATS Traffic. As one, we'll start from the the left, and we'll kind of work our way over to the right-hand side. And again, we're listing some of our core partners up here. The partners include Impact Recovery Systems, a name that you've probably heard before. Gaveco Markings is a very new manufacturer to Canada, but not very new in terms of the markings that they've been doing globally for many, many years. Illuminated overhead crosswalk signage from GreenTop, a very unique application that illuminates the specific crosswalk area with beacons flashing forward and behind, as well as LED enhanced traffic signs from Avail Technologies that utilize edge-lit LED enhanced flashing signs to bring additional attention to pedestrian crossings, dead ends, wrong ways, stops, yields, and those types of things. We'll talk very briefly here about the pet in the bag from Impact Recovery Systems. It's a Canadian spec. School, it doesn't typically say state law on the ones that we sell here. That was a picture here that we got from them. But our Canadian spec provides enhanced conspicuity at unsignalized intersections in order to alert the motorists to local laws concerning yielding or stopping for pedestrians in crosswalks. This all collapses down and fits within sort of a rolling bag that either a school guard or a crossing guard can deploy in the middle of the road there, kind of just on either side of the crosswalk where the children will be crossing, and just brings additional awareness. And then the most important piece there is that if someone was to potentially, after the crosswalk is cleared, if it was hit, it is designed to take that impact, fall down, and just pop right back up, and it doesn't take a lot of damage. And there's really good long-term cost value, cost of ownership on this one. So this is a long-term product. It will last a long time. It's very durable. And then again, it comes in its own sort of bag, and you just roll it out to site and deploy as needed. The other thing here is Gaveco. Gaveco markings. They're known as Premark. You probably heard the name Premark before. They're known as Premark overseas in the EU and the UK. But they're now known here in North America, USA, and Canada as Optimark. Same product. We just have to we have a little bit of a name adjustment there for the North American market. But what you'll notice is it's a preformed thermoplastic pavement marking. These markings, whether they're in zebra stripe configuration as you see here, or just solid bars, a 4-inch line that goes straight across the road surface, or even 3-dimensional crosswalks, which we'll touch on in a minute here, they're designed to last 6 to 8 times longer than paint. One of the most important reasons customers started using Optimark heavy-duty intersection grade material was the durability of the material, greatly increased the life of their pavement marking programs. Optimark has high performance retroreflectivity embedded into the product, so it's glass bead embedded with corundum that's also reflective to make it highly reflective and highly skid resistant. So that's adding that extra level of safety. And it is really just engineered for the visibility, the durability, and the flexibility of installation locations. Talking about GreenTop's illuminated overhead crosswalk sign, the overhead mounted pedestrian sign gives drivers kind of plenty of warning of crosswalks and pedestrian presence. It warns of oncoming traffic from both directions, and the LED kind of like LED downlight further improves the pedestrian safety by illuminating the entire crosswalk corridor. The unique design of the downlight basically prevents dust, insects, moisture, snow and ice buildup, anything from entering the sign box. The technology used dramatically reduces power consumption and requires little to almost no maintenance at all. And then on to the Avail LED enhanced traffic signs, the ultra efficient microprocessors built in with an integrated solar charging system, and utilizing some best-in-class LED and LED lenses as well to really provide that bright, apparent attention and grab that attention and let people know that there's something to be worried about or pay attention to, whether that's sharp turns, pedestrian crossings, you have a decision point for merging left or right, or for free flow traffic, things like that. You can also adjust the intensity as well. So you can go in and adjust, whether it's too bright, it's washing out the sign image, but you're able to go in and adjust how intense the LEDs are. It's just adding just that extra level of customization. So you can go in there and really fine tune and dial in exactly, the settings that you want for this type of application. Let me kind of move on to some of the traffic calming products that we have available as well. International road dynamics, for example, we've been very successful in the market space introducing this new ICOMS iSafe 1 SL radar speed sign. It's very, it's pleasing to look at. It offers the flexibility of a fully dynamic and full matrix display, along with 3 colors as a standard offering. So you've got your green, your amber, and your red, and we also have the ability to do a mix of those 3 colors as well for a very unique color to bring additional attention to the drivers. It'd be a color that they probably would never notice before, but using that additional 4th color by blending some of these 3 colors together really would strike out and make you more aware of what's ahead of you, or more aware of what your speed is doing. And then the addition of the full matrix display to allow us to put graphics on there, so, or even text messages: slow down, thanks for not speeding, school zone, or even putting warning symbols on there for slippery road conditions, black ice conditions, and things like that. A very unique offering. And again, that's available exclusively through ATS Traffic. And we will be hosting a webinar actually in the near future here with IRD about the ICOMS iSafe 1 SL. So just keep an eye out for that. It'll be coming up in about a month or so. And then the next thing here, we've got 3D crosswalks from Gaveco Markings, and that's something that we talked about just slide back there. This 3D crossing material has been used all over the globe: Dubai, New Zealand, Cairns, several places in the United States. I think University of Houston had 1 or 2 done there, I believe. And then we actually installed Gaveco's first 3D crosswalk in Canada in the town of Beaumont last year. So this is our team there in the middle, installing that 3D crosswalk. And it's really about the whole idea is in the science, right? The science is determined by shading and the right shapes, using that in an anamorphic kind of scope to make the crosswalk appear that it's floating off the road surface to the driver. It does appear off the road surface from a pedestrian point of view if you're sort of walking towards it, but as you're walking across it, it doesn't look any, much different than a regular zebra stripe crosswalk that you see in a school zone or a high risk area. What this 3-dimensional situation does is it really kind of drives that additional decision making from the human factor. What is on the road? Should I be going as fast as I'm going? Maybe I should slow down. Maybe something is going to hit my car or my vehicle. That's just the things that go through your mind as you see something that's a little bit different from a markings perspective, and it just drives that additional safety, slowing down, bringing attention to that school crosswalk or that high risk or high priority crosswalk. So this is something that is available, and we're still doing demonstrations of this material starting in the spring of this year. So if you are interested in a free demonstration, not specifically of a 3D crosswalk, but if you're interested in a demonstration, a live demonstration at your facilities or in your community, we'd be happy to go out there and lay some stop bars down, or put a free crosswalk in for you or something like that, just to show you how powerful this product can really be in terms of its application. And then we move on to the far side there, and we talk about the solar-powered flashing beacons. So these are 24/7 beacons that flash either amber or red, and they're designed to go on top of either warning signs or regulatory signs. The red one can be applied to a stop sign or yield sign. And then you can also even enhance those signs even more by adding additional edge lit LED lighting. So you could have a flashing beacon on the top, as well as a LED edge-lit sign, stop sign flashing concurrently, bringing dramatic attention to maybe a high-risk four-way stop that we need to make sure that we can maintain the safety at. Sorry, I went back a slide there. So bike lanes, parks, and pathways. Again, several different brands here that offer very unique and sustainable options: Impact Recovery Systems, Pexco, First Light Technologies, Gaveco Markings, and TrapX. I promise this is the last stat slide. Canadian cycling statistics. So we've got 44% of Canadians say that they would prefer cycling more if they felt safer on the roads. So the idea here is that we got to share the road and work together for a better cycling infrastructure. We've got products in the upcoming slides that help guide us to that better success rate of sharing the road with our cyclists. We move on to 64% of the Canadians expect that there will be more cyclists in about 5 years than today. So this is important now for the next 5 years, that we have to learn and work and share the road for a better cycling infrastructure. And then 63% of Canadians believe there is a need for future investment in cycling infrastructure in their communities. And these next products will kind of show various ways to implement some shared infrastructure with motor vehicles and with cyclists. The first product we're going to talk about is the Impact Recovery Systems bike lane solution. It's a bike lane delineator and a very low profile bicycle lane separator. As you can see in these pictures here, we can go offset colors, green and white, or white on green. They can be staggered. They can either be run for the entire length of the bike lane to really provide that extra delineation and that extra line of visibility and line of safety, or they can be used specifically at conflict zones. So you can run them 50 to 100 meters before a conflict zone, and conflict zones usually an intersection in a downtown core or a very busy intersection where bicyclists and motor vehicles are all at the same juncture. Conflict zone implementation, so 50 to 100 meters back and then 50 to 100 meters on the other side of it, just to give that delineation to the cyclist. And then what you could do after the fact is add additional pavement markings from Gaveco to really enhance the visibility of that lane. So even though you're not going to mark the entire length of the pathway of a couple hundred kilometers, or not a couple hundred kilometers, but a couple of kilometers of dedicated pathway, instead of putting all of these devices out, you can do a mix and match of some of these devices combined with pavement marking as well. We're talking about Pexco's bike lane solution as well. So the FG300 flexible post and the Pexco City Post are multi-purpose. So you can use City Post for bike lane and shared pathway delineation, or you can also use City Post in other areas of your business for just delineation or parking lots or something like that. So it doesn't have to be specific for bike lanes, but the City Post and the FG300 have varying purposes and varying areas to be installed at. So it's the ability to install it in any situation is highly flexible with the FG300 and the Pexco City Post. And again, they come in varying different colors. You can see here, white with reflective strips, yellow with red reflective strips. We've done blues and greens and yellows, several different colors. So again, lots of varying options there, and please reach out, and we're going to be happy to go through all the available options for your community. So going back to what we're talking about there, so implementing bike lane solutions. So we've got kind of an aqua route product and a plasti route product. I'm not going to get too deep into these because we'll be hosting additional webinars for these later on in the year. But talking about these products, they're very easy to apply. They have a 6 to 8 year lifespan on them. They're highly durable. They're very vibrant, and they do not typically take specialized equipment to apply. With the Aqua route, you absolutely can apply it with a specialized equipment, piece of equipment. You would need a 98-2 machine. Benron makes a really good 98-2 sprayer, so you can put through materials, Gveco materials, no problem through Benron 98-2 machine. So that's a spray-on application. You just kind of mask it off and spray away. But the alternative is a more labor-intensive piece, talking about hands-on labor. So here's a quick project here that we did for the town of Banff in partnership, sort of with the town of Banff and Tesla. Town of Banff had about 24 Tesla parking stalls around there in the Upper Hot Springs, Lower Hot Springs, Gondola, Banff Park Museum, and then the visitor center there. So the green product that you see there was rolled on. That is the Plasti-Route Bike Lane Green pigment. It's been rolled on. We masked off the white lines. The white lines were done actually a bit later on from when this picture was taken. But then the unique piece of this is that we've got a preformed thermoplastic marking that we were able to bond with the other branded Gveco marking. So the unique features of Gveco is that they're all made to work with each other, so they're brand specific. So you can actually roll on the Plasti-Route, let it cure for about 4 hours, and then you can go right back and you can hit it with a torch and you can melt on the preformed thermoplastic marking, and it still makes all of those mechanical bonds that all of the preform and liquid markings make. So it basically becomes a permanent part of the road surface. So it would be there until they repave that parking lot, essentially. So talking, additional parks and pathway features, you've got solar powered pathway lighting from First Light Technologies, really cutting edge stuff. Commercial parking lot applications, recreational bikeway pathway, and outdoor spaces. They're all self-contained. They're unobtrusive. They've got a really nice, pleasant design to them. They're designed to kind of blend, but also enhance the look of your community. They have adaptive LED technologies. There's no real electrical design, although we do have other options available for AC and whatnot. But if you go with the solar option, there's no wiring, there's no trenching. It takes about 15 minutes to install. Maybe the biggest one, we use screw piles to put them in. It's a very simple process to install. The biggest piece is no electricity bills after that. So once you take your grid offline for what's currently powering your park and pathway lighting, that's all just money going back into the community and going back into the budget for you to spend on other sustainable solutions. And again, it is a sustainable choice without recurring carbon emissions as well. So we're not burning coal, we're not doing anything to kind of generate the power to power the lights. This is all powered on its own by solar power technology. A couple of examples here. We've got some stuff in Devon and North Battleford. The one in North Battleford was really done for security purposes. There was just not a lot of lighting in the downtown core. We were able to go in with this solution and install, solar-powered street lights, a solar-powered bollard, so that they turn on and off as they detect presence. The same thing with the Devon installation. They can all be customized with an application. So if you have like Google Home, or if you've got the Globe smart light bulbs, or even like the Philips Hue smart light bulbs, if you know how to use those applications, very similar to use the First Light applications. You can go in and you can set schedules, you can set different intensities, and you can set different parameters. They can follow someone and turn off behind them and turn on in front of them, so that you're not always having all the lights on. You've got some places that have pathways to go through little islands and stuff there. Well, you've got someone on the other side of the lake that the light's always on. Well, this kind of solves that purpose. It only turns on and off as potentially someone goes in front of it while they're on their commute, or not commute, sorry, on their recreational walk. And I'm going to throw it to Steve here briefly as well, just to talk about this Traffic's trail, mountain, and vehicle counter system that we've been successful with.
Sure, thanks, Wade. We thought this was a good spot for this slide because we were just talking about parks and pathways. So the image on the top right, this is the trail counter, your pedestrian cyclist counter. The image in the bottom right is actually a vehicle counter. Trafex is a nice innovative company in the sense that they have simplified things, made it easy, made things compact, and made them easy to deploy. And most of them are battery powered with a life that is very impressive. The big thing about trail cams is the debate right now is to lock or not to lock. In wilderness settings or on pathway settings, a lockbox sort of attracts unwarranted attention and actually invites vandalism in a lot of cases. So, much better and successful strategy for wilderness settings is to camouflage and hide the counter well so that people actually don't see it. So this trail counter is nice and camouflaged, and it's easy to hide because it's small. The field box can be hidden easily, just sort of at the base of a tree, and the scope, which is almost the size of a pen or a thick pen, can be mounted to the side of the tree. So, in short, for areas where people don't expect to see a locking box, hiding the counter seems to be the best approach. As far as accuracy, if the trail is narrow, people travel sort of single file and spaced apart, you can expect accuracy as high as 95 to 100%. If the trail is wider and people typically travel side by side or in tighter groups, you can expect accuracy somewhere in the range of 75 to 90%. Wade, I will pass it back to you.
Awesome, fantastic, Steve, thank you. So now we're going to talk briefly here and just highlight some of the things that we can do with special event management, and just and how we kind of apply some of the things that we've learned about today, and then apply those to special event management using some enhanced tools here. So we've got event traffic management. We deliver, we install by our on-street services team, including all the lane closures. We do all of the equipment rentals, from message boards and signage to let people know where there's parking available or what route to take to get to the parking stalls or the parking areas, using barricades and barriers. So we've got barricades and barrier options either in orange or in green. In fact, this green Crowdcade Deluxe from Plasticade, we've done tremendously well in the lime green for the city of Saskatoon. We went with a custom color. They went with a custom color. We worked with our vendor partner there, Plasticade, to come up with that color for them. And that color is being used in that area as differentiator between what is construction and what is a special event. We also do solar powered lighting, as well as solar powered camera and security trailers. The other thing we also have a tie to, as well as the vehicle barriers. And it's something that we'd always like to talk about because that elephant is always sitting in the room, and it's always someone always has to talk about it, and that is the anti-terrorism and vehicle barriers that we have from MIFRAM. MIFRAM vehicle barriers are designed to be easily deployed and rolled out in place. And then should there be, heaven forbid, a situation where there could be an attempted vehicle incursion, this device is designed to dig into the asphalt and almost virtually stop the vehicle from moving more than 20 or so feet into the secured area. It's designed to really damage and tear up the underside of the vehicle, blow the tires, and there's some really incredible footage of the MIFRAM security kind of in action. And if you're interested in that, we can definitely send out some additional videos to kind of show how good those things really work. And then talking about all of these things, ATS Traffic is well known in the industry for our high level of traffic management planning. So we have a very experienced drafting team. We use the best technology. We use AutoCAD and customized traffic simulation tools to model work zone impact and queuing. We can even We can even look at, turning radiuses and analysis for cross-section, illustrating lane widths, and we can look at conflict analysis and all of that kind of stuff, in and out of the events, peak times, at the beginning of the event, peak times at the end of the event, and what happens, during intermissions, things like that. So we take all of these things into consideration, and we do very site specific, and we incorporate a lot of the innovative products that you've seen here today on the presentation, as well as, we think about the vulnerable road user considerations. How do pedestrians, cyclists, and potentially disabled folks get to the site with ease, with the least amount of question marks as possible. We have done a recorded webinar on our traffic management planning. It is on our YouTube channel, so you can check us out on YouTube and look for those live webinars that we've done specifically about the traffic management planning, if that's something that you'd be interested in. We do a lot of these things. This example here is the Kidney March. We've also done the Grand Fondo and a couple of other kind of high-profile things for City of St. Albert and whatnot. So again, I invite you to check out our YouTube channel for this webinar that we did about traffic management planning. At this state, I'm going to pass it on to Steve Ennis to kind of finish off the presentation here with some slides about data collection and a little bit more about Intelli Traffic and their offerings for livable communities and sustainable options for your community.
Great, thanks, Wade. So we will, time flies when you're having fun. So we're gonna get right into this here. Into the first slide here, which is a toolless sensor platform. So this is a new and innovative lighting control platform. Adding the toolless sensor platform to your existing lighting network is sort of or can be your gateway to your smart city. Street lights that are equipped with these controls save you energy by using the precise amount of energy that you need and accurately measures every watt used. But even cooler than that is, in addition to doing that, you can collect data off of these things, which very easily plug into any street light, up to 50 years old. So essentially any street light in the world, they have the same receptors and can accept these data collection pieces. All street lights are highly standardized. There's radar, there's air quality detection. There's also a safety flasher version of this. So during school zone hours, you can flash yellow through a school zone for added safety measures. There's noise and acoustic measuring. And then also coming this year, not out yet, but there's going to be a live camera. So this is a really neat offering. It's something that we're really excited about because it's easy. You need a bucket truck to get up to the light, and this thing just literally clips right in. And then it communicates via cell phone and data. So there is an ongoing charge, but it works really well. And there's a whole bunch of applications, including enforcement planning. You can really automate the scheduling of your enforcement, traffic calming, lighting planning, safer neighborhoods. Lots of complaints come from neighborhoods saying that people drive too fast down their street. So it's nice, cheap data validation that in fact that is happening. Next, I'll talk about temporary conflict analysis. So pictured here is one of our Vermac trailers that's sort of custom outfitted with a high definition camera and a computer. And what this does is it measures near misses. So the problem is when we look at intersection safety, often what we're looking at is collision data, insurance provided data, injury data. It's looking backwards, it's looking in the rearview mirror. What we need is more of a predictive measure of which intersections are the most dangerous in any area, in any municipality. We can do as many as one intersection and as many as as 60. We work with a company called Micro Traffic, world-class AI company out of Manitoba. And what they do is we record the video, we work with them to analyze the video, and they'll issue a report. And what this report allows you to do is prioritize your sites on a safety sort of basis, and allow you to spend the money on the infrastructure upgrades in a smart and data-driven way. So you can do this on a permanent basis as well. If you have existing cameras and intersections, that can certainly be done. Where we're really focusing is on the temporary side of things. You can deploy one of these trailers like this. You can also deploy other video collection technologies, such as like a MyoVision Scout or something else like that. Parking insights, parking intelligence and insights. So we offer camera-based parking data and insights. And essentially what this is parking detection. Determines where spots are available. This data can be pushed to a LED sign at the entrance of a parking lot, or it can also be integrated into other applications. So say for instance, a municipality operates many parking lots, or they have an event going on like a park and ride sort of thing. They can offer their people, the public, intelligent data-driven parking options. So when I say that, I'm basically talking spot availability. The system is also able to track vehicle and people movements through the parking lot for purposes of planning ramps, line striping, signage, and other enhancements to the parking lot. It's a system that really allows you to understand what's happening in the parking lot. What it is not is a parking enforcement system, but you can certainly integrate with one to make that come to life. The picture in the top right here is actually our headquarters in Edmonton, our parking lot there. Intersections and crossings, next section here. First, we'll speak to adaptive corridors. This is our newest partner out of the States. Just signed the agreement there, and we are really excited about this. So the problem is that about 80% of traffic signals in Canada are uncoordinated at this point. So traffic delay, congestion, stops, traffic signals, they all result in citizen complaints. And while the offering from Rhythm is vast, they certainly have intersection detection, but even intersection detection is almost becoming commoditized at this point. They're taking it a couple levels up, and what I'm talking about here in this slide is the Cadillac offering from Rhythm, which is the InSync. This is the fully adaptive AI-driven solution. So InSync really solves three main problems that traffic engineers face. The first is outdated technology. The manual data collection process is very inaccurate and ineffective. So timing plans are created using an outdated, it's a Webster model. It's like a 50-year-old model. And what InSync is it's new age technology. It's actually the only truly adaptive traffic signal system, digitizes the traffic signal operations using some patented algorithms. Second problem is not enough time. With the current way of timing traffic signals, it could take up to 2 months to synchronize an arterial roadway, and that process is simply not scalable. So InSync offers real-time coordination. What it does is it would lessen your workload by computing real-time green durations to vehicle demand at each local intersection. And the third problem is a lack of resources. So especially now more than ever, it's tough to get money. So the current ways of coordinating traffic signals are very manual and resource intensive, and are thus expensive and often difficult to fund. So the InSync is very cost effective. It's compatible with all existing hardware. InSync really enhances efficiency and reduces cost of traffic signal synchronization. Speak a little bit about the Trainfone system. So this is an offering. It actually brings together a few of our partners. Trainfone, who is the data partner, and Vermac, who is more the hardware, the message board partner, and the solar panel partner here. But really what we do is we detect trains coming down the track, and we advise traffic upstream of the crossing that there's a train coming. And this allows them to make better decisions for detours around the tracks, and helps people get from point A to point B quicker. Quickly on the asset management and maintenance. So this logo in the middle here, this is it's called Reflector. This is our own proprietary asset management software. We use it for a bunch of things internally, but really how we sell it to municipalities is we offer what we call the Smart Sign program. And asset management for us sort of starts with signs because we do so much of signs. We do signs well. So what we're doing in our manufacturing warehouse right now is every sign that leaves the building, we're scanning. And what we do when we scan those QR codes is we're moving all of the manufacturing data that we have for any particular sign onto the back of that sign, onto that sticker. So that includes the sheeting type, warranty, size of the sign, what is the sign. And so what that does is it equips our customers to, when they're installing signs in the field, to actually use Reflector to record a task, that task being install sign. And what that does is it puts a dot on the map of where that sign is. You can take a picture, and now that asset is live, and you can monitor it from your iOS. It's app-based as well as browser-based. So you can monitor this from your phone or from your browser, and it's really what it is it's in-field asset management, and that's what really makes it different. Is it a GIS system? Well, a little bit. It's a simple one. It certainly integrates well with existing GIS systems, but what it does is it actually complements existing GIS systems in the sense that all the data is collected in the field. Condition reporting, inspections, these are all recorded in the field and pushed as tasks to the history of that asset. So at any point in time, you can see what you have, where it is, what condition it's in, when the last inspection was done. And then we also offer, so when I talk to municipalities about this, my first question is, do you know what you have? And a lot of the time, the answer is no, certainly for certain assets like signs. So what we do offer is a LiDAR-based asset extraction. So this is a vehicle-mounted LiDAR unit that drives around the municipality or the jurisdiction, and it collects LiDAR video of the entire route. Then that is passed through some math and some smart algorithms, and basically what it does is creates live inventory of what you have on the road, and then that's imported into Reflector as dots on the map. So that's the process that we have for asset management. This is just a quick screenshot of what those assets would look like on the mapping interface included in Reflector. So that will conclude our webinar, or the part that we talk. We offer vision sessions. This is essentially like a 90-minute consultative type session with you. So if you like any of the ideas that you heard us talk about today, or any of the products that you heard us talk about today, get in touch with us, and we'll schedule one of these vision sessions, and we'll sit down with you. We'll identify your problems, your issues, and then we'll go back to the drawing board and create solutions for each of these identified issues. And then we'll get back together and we'll go through each one by one, and you can sort of select a la carte what you're interested in and what you might not be interested in. So with that, I will turn it back to Wade and to Peter, the coordinator of this webinar, and I think we'll get to some questions.
Fantastic, thanks, Steve. And all right, so we are now into the question period. I know we're going a little bit long here, but it's been a really informative session. I hope a lot of you've been kind of taking some notes and you know, putting some thoughts on paper there. Peter's been monitoring the chat, so let's fire away with some questions.
Alrighty, yeah. So a couple questions here. So. First question is around the Gaveco markings, is around the material used. Were there more upfront costs around installation? And are those offset by maintenance? And do they hold up to the wear of daily traffic and snow plows and sweeping?
Great question. Full transparency, MMA material or preformed thermoplastic material, methyl methachloride, there's going to be a little bit more of an upfront cost versus paint. That is just the case. Where you're going to see the ROI and where you're going to see the cost savings is if you have to paint multiple times a year in an intersection because that intersection gets a lot of turn traffic or a lot of stop traffic and the stop bar wears away, that's where this product can really put money back into the pocket. You can install a stop bar, 30-foot stop bar in like 10 minutes. And that stop bar then, once cured, you can spray a little bit of water on it, cured. It's designed to be as durable as the road surface. Now, talking about sweeping, they're not going to really damage aggressively the markings. Now, when we talk about snowplows, you're going to see a little bit of chipping. You might see a little bit of delamination, but nothing that is outside of the normal operating parameters for that product. It's designed to last up to 6 to 8 years, not 68, 6 to 8 years. And the ease of installation is either with a infrared heater or by using a couple of torches and some propane tanks. But really that offset is, it's a higher upfront cost by about a third. And then when it comes to cost savings over time, you're no longer sending folks out to repaint and close roads so you can repaint and sending out the TMA truck multiple times. It's more greenhouse gas emissions with idling and things like that. So the long term of this product is this is designed to be a replacement for paint, and you take all those costs from painting one product or one intersection or one area. How many times do you paint that in a 6 to 8 year span? Add all of that cost up, and then you look at our one-time upfront cost and installation cost, and that's where you're going to see that balance shift from paint is not as good of a return on investment than a Gveco preformed thermoplastic marking or cold applied cold plastic MMA style products.
Okay, thanks, Wade. And we have time for one more question here. This question is for Steve around the parking intelligence. Can it be integrated with the existing camera hardware?
Thanks, Peter. Yes, it certainly can. So, we need to look at each situation independently. But yes, if you have quality cameras set up already in a parking lot that capture all of the parking lot in a high enough, a good enough feed essentially, so that we can see cars and they're not all blurry. Yeah, we can absolutely tie into existing camera infrastructure.
Okay, thanks.
Fantastic. So that kind of brings us to our the end of our presentation. So once again, we'll be sending out the recording of the webinar. We didn't get to all the questions, but we will follow up with those questions directly back to you. So just be, stay tuned for those inbound emails with your answers to your follow-up questions there. So I encourage you all to reach out to ATS Traffic, reach out to your local rep if you know who they are, or reach out to us directly. We're going to be happy to answer any additional questions or talk about any additional topics that were covered today during the presentation. With that, I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we'll hope to see you all again soon on the next webinar.